Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here with another story craft. I'm going to tell you guys a story and do a craft, and yeah, if there's a story that you want to hear me tell you guys, leave it in the comments below and I will add it to my list of stories to do. But right now, we're doing the story of Arachne because I'm on a little bit of a Greek mythology kick, and these are fun for me, so we're doing this one. And right off the top, I'm just going to apologize if I start to get froggy. Allergies are murdering me. You know, words are really hard. They're murdering me right now. So, yeah, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. I'm doing my best to power through, but it's going to get froggy. I've been really froggy the last couple of days. So anyways, I'm just going to jump into it. We're going to talk about Arachne. So, way back in ancient Greece, in ancient Greek times of an unspecified year and location, but Greece, there was a young woman named Arachne, and she was the daughter of a sort of middle class, like, merchant, not super well off, but not, you know, like, broke, and she, nope, reverse. Her father was a merchant specifically in textiles, so he sold a bunch of wonderful, lustrous fabrics and things around the world of fabric, you know, that I would give you examples of, but I don't have all the words for that. So, in part of his trade, he would also sell these beautiful tapestries woven by his daughter, Arachne herself. And they weren't just, like, pretty tapestries, guys. Arachne was thought to be, like, I guess, celebrity, royalty of the weaving world, because people would come from all over to watch her work at her loom because it was just such a magical, like, experience. She was so skilled and so deft with her weaving that people would just sit there and watch her do it, and she would put together these, like, stunning, beautiful tapestries on her loom, and they would, like, just sort of come to life as she's weaving. So her weaving, superb, majestic, phenomenal, right? She's the tip top of the charts, best weaver ever. And, you know, people, they love it. They're eating it up. Like, people are talking about it. People are bidding crazy high money prices to get her weaving her tapestries. And, you know, she's getting a lot of notoriety for this. And unfortunately, because she is a young woman, it starts to go to her head a little bit. Like, all this praise, all this celebration, all these people clamoring to her in, like, you know, ancient Greek eBay, trying to outbid each other to get her tapestries. It's really going to her head a little bit. So she starts to get a little braggadocious, a little full of herself. And as time goes on, every time she finishes one of her beautiful tapestries, she starts to make little comments here and there about how she's the best weaver. And it's not just like, oh, I'm the best weaver, you know, in the city. But it's, I'm the best weaver probably in all of Greece. And then a little more time passes and she's like, I think I might be the best weaver in all of the Mediterranean, that entire territory. And then, you know, a little more time passes and more people are clamoring for her stuff and they're all hyping her up. She got a whole crowd of people who just show up to watch her work and they're like, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're stupendous. And she's like, yeah, you know what, I actually am. I might be the best weaver in the world. And everyone's like, well, you know, except for the gods, like, maybe the best human weaver. Yeah, for sure. And she's like, no, I don't think so. I actually think I might be the best weaver ever. Like, fuck them gods. And so, like, in a truly scandalous move that I don't recommend, I definitely don't recommend, Arachne starts talking mad shit about the gods, because she's like, they wish they could weave as good as I do. No god ever could do something as masterfully and skillfully as I. In fact, the gods are fucking idiots. And people start being like, ooh, girl, no, like, ooh, you shouldn't say that. You should go make amends, like, at once. And she's like, why? It's true. Clearly, look at my work. And they're like, it is good, though. It is good. And I've never seen anything a god has woven, so I don't really have a basis of comparison. So, this mad shit talking goes on for quite a while, guys, until it reaches the ears of the gods on Mount Olympus, and most of them are like unbothered. They're like, okay, you sit down, but they're just waiting like for somebody to humble her. And then in walks fucking Athena. So Athena, if you guys don't know, is not only the goddess of wisdom and war strategy, but she's also the goddess of handicrafts. So she is the crafter's goddess. And she hears Arachne talking mad shit, talking not just shit about her, because, she's basically saying she's the best weaver. And that already, like, hit Athena hard. She was like, word, okay, all right, I'm gonna square up with this girl. But Arachne's talking mad shit about all the gods. And if there's anything that Athena is, you guys, if there's anything that she is, in addition to being a supremely powerful, intelligent, strong, independent woman who don't need no man, she's also a daddy's girl. So when Arachne's boasting starts to talk shit about her father, she's like, oh, no, I'm actually not going to let this one slide. Everyone else is playing it really cool. I'm not going to let that go. We're going to stay on that. So Athena decides to disguise herself as an old woman to go down and watch Arachne work. So she joins the crowd of spectators who are all out there just like, I don't know if it's like, if they're loudly like cheering her on, like it's like a basketball game where everyone's like hooping and hollering, or if it's like a golf game and everyone's like really quiet and they're just like golf clapping, watching her work. I don't know like what kind of working environment she's in, but Athena joins the crowd and she's an old lady, right? And when Arachne finishes her work, she shows it off. Everyone's like, ooh, ah, amazing. And Arachne starts her boasting, and she's like, yep, this is my best work to date. The gods would be envious to own a piece of mine because it's so beautiful. And Athena, approaches as the old lady, and she's like, I don't know if I would say that. You should say sorry right now because the gods will be offended if you keep talking shit about them. And Arachne's like, ha! Fuck them gods. And that's when Athena reveals herself in all of her majestical majesties. And Arachne and the onlookers are stunned. They're too shook to speak because there's this goddess in her full, like, godliness shining upon them, and they're like, oh, it's Athena. Oh shit. So some of the people in the crowd are like, I gotta go home. Actually, I just remembered I left the fire on, and so like they're like trying to run out there, and Athena's like, no, everybody stay, because if you, Arachne, think that you were a better weaver than me, the goddess of handicrafts and the fucking weaver supreme, you're gonna prove it right now. And Arachne, knowing that there is no other outlet for her, like, she knows she fucked up. She knows. Once you see a god standing in front of you, you know there's no denying that you done fucked up. So she's like, okay, well, if I say no, she's just gonna smite me on the spot. So yeah, totally, let's have a weaving contest. Let's have a weave off. So they both sit down at their looms. Athena conjures this magical, beautiful, gigantic golden loom. Arachne sits down at hers, and they begin to weave. And the people are like astonished because already they were there to watch Arachne weave. Like, this is entertainment for them, right? But now they're watching a goddess weave. And like, Athena's not just weaving, she's pulling clouds out of the sky to turn them into fine threads that she can use on her loom. She's like growing the grass extra tall so that she can pull the color green from there and use that as thread as well. So she's pulling from all the elements of nature to turn that into the threads that she uses on her loom to get all the colors there. And everyone's like, this is amazing. This is crazier than anything I've ever seen in my life. And you have to imagine all those villagers and all those like spectators, their minds were blown, because not only did they get to see a goddess in person, they got to see a goddess at work in person. So like, everyone's amazed. And Arachne's doing her thing, and people are still like, wow, she's so beautiful, she's so elegant, look at the way she's mixing color, like, this is amazing. And this is hype. This is the sports event of this season, okay? And when they are finished, Athena reveals her final tapestry, and it is this beautiful, like, glistening and golden and just beautiful, like, deep blues and greens, this beautiful, like, portrait of the gods at the height of their power. So, you got Zeus with his lightning bolt, and there's Poseidon, like, riding a hippogriff, or no, hippocampus, I know what they're called, through the waves. And, you have Hades with his, like, helm and his, I don't know what it's called. It's not a Triton because there's only two, but it's like a fork. And, you know, you've got Apollo carrying the sun through the sky on his chariot. And it's just this magnificent, like, depiction of the gods, mostly male because she is that kind of girl, you know, on this beautiful tapestry. And everyone's like, wow, that's something. And so Arachne's like, yeah, that's really nice. That's really cool. That's really cool. And so she shows her tapestry. And it's... You guys, it's also beautiful, but in a different kind of way. Like, it's masterfully done. It's still the highest quality work that Arachne is used to, like, doing. But her tapestry, you guys, is like a diss track, okay? Because it has depictions of the gods at their worst points, having them, like, battle it out with each other. It has them starting, like, plagues and famines. It's got them, you know, seducing mortal women. Specifically, it has Zeus in all of the different forms that he has taken to seduce women, like a golden shower, an eagle, a swan, lots of birds in Zeus's regimen, like his little repertoire there. So it's got Zeus in just all these different forms, you know, having affairs with women. And Athena sees this, and like I said, you guys, she's a daddy's girl. So it's debatable, it's debated upon whether or not Arachne's tapestry was actually better or not. Most people tend to agree that her tapestry was actually better, and that's what sent Athena into a rage. But I'm more inclined to believe it's just the fact that she continued to talk shit about the gods, and that's what got her there in the first place. And then she chose to talk shit specifically about Athena's dad. And Athena was like, nobody talks about my daddy like that. So Athena's like, okay, you think you're so great, you think you're the best weaver in the world, then you shall be the best weaver in the world, as a matter of fact. So she hits her with some godly like energy, and then Arachne starts to slowly shapeshift. She starts to shrink, her arms start to multiply, her eyes start to multiply. This is a little body horror, guys. I don't know if you just need a trigger warning, but it is. And as she shrinks down, her abdomen starts to contort in different ways, and she becomes a spider. And she's cursed to be a spider forever. So the actual, like, Arachne, the spider, is still alive to this day, still giving birth to all the spiders of the world. She's thought to be the originator of spiders, the mother of spiders, who arguably are the best weavers in nature. So therefore, ergo, children of Arachne. So thanks for that, Arachne. It's also where you get the origins of the name, you know, arachnids, arachnophobia, all comes from her name, Arachne. And Athena took her tapestry and she fucked back off to Olympus and was very smug about everything she had done because she was so clever, she turned that girl into a spider. But yeah, that's the entire story. Now, there's a couple versions of this tale. Some are distinctly darker than others. Some are pretty similar. Like I said, it's a lot of it's arguing about whether or not her tapestry was actually better or just more offensive. And I lean towards it being maybe better, but also on par with Athena's, but just super offensive. Which, you know, the whole reason she was there was for her pride and her arrogance and her dismissal of the gods. And, like, that's the thing. Now, in the darker version, which I didn't want to make my main story, but I will, like, mention it here because I think it does bear mentioning. It sort of has Athena go into, like, a jealous rage when she sees that Arachne's tapestry is better than hers. And so instead of, like, just turning her into a spider outright, she bonks her on the head 3 times in, like, a tantrum, which seems a little bit out of character for me, for Athena, but, you know, she bonks her on the head 3 times. And then getting hit on the head upsets Arachne so much that she runs inside her house and then immediately proceeds to unalive herself. So she ends up hanging herself from the rafters. And when Athena goes in to be like, hey girl, come back out here because I'm not done with you, she sees that Arachne is there, dead from the ceiling, like hanging from the ceiling, and feels so remorseful that she decides to get some magic from Hecate and revive her, but then also transform her into a spider so that she's always hanging from the rafters, which is weird to me. It's a weird version of this story. And like, it just seems so incongruous to the entire idea and the lesson of the tale, which is don't talk shit about the gods. But it is a version of the story that exists, so, you know, there's that. I do like this story a lot because it's just teenage girl things, right? Like, teenagers get full of themselves, especially when they get a lot of praise, and that's what happens. And it's unfortunate, like, that this happened and that nobody was, like, able to reel back her ego a little bit to prevent, like, her getting the attention of the gods. Because most of the gods seemed okay with, like, letting that go. Because they were like, no, that's women's work. We don't care about this little woman down here talking about her women's work. But Athena was like, that's my work. And I care about it. Also, she's talking shit about my dad. Now, also to say, like, to keep in character with Athena in mythology, there's a lot of, like, good myths about Athena where she's, like, helpful and she does that kind of stuff. But there's also, like, an equal or greater amount of myths where, like, Athena does something heinous, which just feels to me like a smear campaign, because I don't feel like she's that petty, but she might also be that petty. She does seem a little bit on the pick-me, like, side of the pantheon when we're talking about, like, goddesses, right? So she might lean a little bit more center than to, the left with all the other ladies. But it is interesting, just the characterization of Athena. I wish that more was talked about in that regard, because other goddesses fare better, even when they have myths that are also heinous. None of them walk away unscathed. They all do kind of dastardly things to the mortals that offend them. But for some reason, there's like a plethora, like there's a supreme amount of myths around Athena where this happens. And I'm like, was she just the outlet for all of the stories where they were like, who's a good bad guy? Athena. But then, like, at the same time, she was also super wildly revered and held in such high esteem that it's sort of like a weird juxtaposition for her character. So I don't know. That's just my, like, brain thoughts and ramblings. Athena does have a whole city named after her. That is the city of Athens. There's a whole story about how that happened, too. She's a really interesting goddess, and like I said, super highly praised, so it blows my mind that she's the villain in so many stories. But yeah, I'm gonna jump off here because I've hit ramble mode, and that's all I have to share with you guys today. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. We'll catch you all in the next one. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate your faces, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.